I'm Cath and this is Made by Cath Craft. Thank you so much for joining me for this video, which is going to be one of my sewing catch-up videos. So I've got lots to talk about today. I've got a new make to share that I've been working on this week and I finished it now and I'm really proud of it. I was working on something that I wasn't too confident with, so I'm really pleased to finish that. I'm looking forward to sharing it. I've also got some new fabric to share and a new pattern too, and a couple of other bits as well. So lots to talk about. And I'm filming this video on a very cold day here in the south of England. The last couple of days have been really chilly here. The temperature's definitely dropped. It's feeling very wintry. Today it's actually really nice outside because it's sunny as well as cold. It's the perfect winter day, I guess. And I've really enjoyed having a little sort of look through my drawers and reaching for some more cozier items, including what I'm wearing today. So today I've got on a sweater dress and I made this just towards the end of the colder weather last year. So I didn't get to wear it really much then at all, but I knew I'd look forward to getting it out this year. So I was very pleased to get it out this morning and pop it on. And this is a sweater dress I made using a pattern from this book here, which is Stretch by Tilling the Buttons. And I made the Stella hoodie in a dress form. So this book has loads of different stretch patterns in. I really love this book, including the Stella hoodie and joggers patterns. And I've never tried the joggers and I hadn't tried the Stella hoodie until I made this one. But I made a version a little bit like this here. So a hoodie dress, it's got a dropped shoulder, a bit of a relaxed fit, cuffs on the sleeves. And I actually changed it a little bit and I added on a bottom band as well because I sort of wanted to bring it in a little bit there and make it feel more like a lengthened sweatshirt in a way. And I really wanted to make this because I often wear leggings around the house and I sometimes find that sweatshirts that just come down to around my middle don't keep me warm enough. So I thought making an extra long sweatshirt would be nice and cozy. So that's what I did. So I made this version in just a plain black. I thought I would go with my black leggings nicely. It's a black brushed back sweatshirting type fabric, which I got from First for Fabrics. And I got some matching ribbing too for the cuffs and the bottom band. If the fabrics are still in stock at First for Fabrics, I'll link them down below. I also got some fun cotton jersey fabric to line the hood, and also I've added a kangaroo pouch on and I line that too in the same fabric. That also came from First for Fabrics. I don't know whether this one will be in stock still. Again, if it is, I'll link it down below. But yeah, I had a bit of fun with this nice leopard print that I thought sort of toned in with the black. And I do really like that pop of colour. I think if I'd gone for all black, it might feel a bit too much, but I think that makes it a bit more, yeah, a bit more fun and a bit brighter having that little detail there. I did add on, I think, little eyelets here. So I could put a cord through the hood, but I've just never got around to it. I haven't yet. Maybe I'll do that at some point. But yeah, it was quite nice. It sewed up really nicely and it is really cozy. I'll put a picture up so you can see it properly on. But yeah, it's keeping me nice and cozy today and I'm glad to be able to wear it. So that is what I'm wearing today to keep me cozy on this cold day here. But I'll move on now to sharing all of the things I wanted to talk about. So I guess I'll start off with the new fabrics that arrived this week. And they're quite pretty all together actually. I've got a little pile of sort of lilac-y pinky fabrics here. These fabrics are all knit fabrics. There are two loop back French terry fabrics and one cotton jersey fabric. And I got them all from Moonbeam Fabrics, which I bought as a small online business. I bought from them a few times before. I find their stretch knit fabrics quite good value. So I think these two underneath are the sort of, yeah, the French terry fabrics and the lilac and this sort of soft pink colour, like a dusky pink. And I got, I think, 1 metre of each of these fabrics. And I'm going to use them to make my daughter some new mini Hudson pants by True Bias. I made her a couple of pairs, I think maybe last year or the year before. They're starting to get a little bit short on her. She still loves them and wants to wear them. So I'm not going to actually start cutting into these fabrics quite yet. But I have said to her, when she's ready for some new pairs, I've got the fabric and we can just get started sewing them. So yeah, that'll be a nice simple sew. What I quite like to do for her is add on little detail on the pocket and on the cuff of a different type of fabric with a pattern on. Actually, one second, I'll go and get you one of her pairs I made her before so I can show you. So I'll back in a moment. So I've grabbed one of her pairs of joggers that I made her before so I can show you. So this is one of the pairs that she is wearing a lot at the moment, and it's actually the same lilac that I bought again because she really loves this colour. It's her favourite pair she likes to wear. But as you can see, I added a little pocket detail and on the waistband and also on the ankle cuffs, just to make the joggers a little bit sort of extra pretty, I guess, with an extra detail on. And I just used leftover, I think this was leftover French terry from a dress I sewed for my niece when she was very, very small. It's quite cute. It's kind of got little owls on. And I kind of try and keep little small bits of French terry that are patterned that I've sewn with for little details like this. So we often have a little rummage through all the offcuts I've got, so she can choose hopefully some new details to add for these joggers, unless she decides she wants them just plain. But if she does want a detail, I've got a few different French terries. I don't think I've got this one anymore. I think we used the last of this one. So I wouldn't be able to recreate these joggers exactly, but yeah, that is the plan for those fabrics. So yeah, I've got them pre-washed already, so they're ready to go when she does decide finally that these ones are getting a little bit too short. And then when I made that order, I also got this cotton jersey fabric. Again, it's in a kind of sort of dusky, pretty pink colour. And I think I got a little bit more of this one, maybe 1.5 metres. And I bought this to go with a new pattern that I bought this week too. And the new pattern I got is the kids version of the Nova jumpsuit by True Bias. So this is the adult version of the Nova jumpsuit by True Bias. I haven't got the kids version as a sort of tangible product because it's only available as a PDF, so I've got it downloaded onto my computer. But I was able to get the pattern for the adult version, which I got, I think, a lot earlier this year, or maybe late last year. Anyway, it's a really cool pattern, another one by True Bias, and it's for this jersey jumpsuit. I'll show you the line drawings. It's kind of got this scoop neck and sort of wide straps. And you can either make a version that's elasticated around the waist or without the elastic for a more looser fit. And then it comes down to a full length leg, or I think maybe just slightly cropped with elastic at the bottom there to pull it in. And I made myself a Nova jumpsuit, I think it was earlier this year, in a navy cotton jersey fabric. And I'll pop a picture up of me wearing that one. And I love it. I've worn it so much. It really was one of those makes that just I loved even more than I was expecting to. You know, when you put something on, it just feels so comfy, and I just felt really good in it. So yeah, I really enjoy wearing it. And I've been mentioning to my daughter for a while how there is a mini version. I think it maybe goes from 2 to 10 or something around those ages. And I've sort of been saying to her, would you like me to make you one perhaps? It's really comfy. I think it would look really cute if we made one for you. And she hadn't been keen. And then just recently she said, actually, maybe I would like one. So I jumped at it because I really wanted to be able to make one for her. And I think she'll really enjoy wearing it. So I got the mini pattern, and I got this lovely fabric that she kind of chose the colour of to make a version for her, which I think will look really, really cute. I'm really looking forward to getting all the mini pattern pieces traced out and yeah, ready for her. I don't know whether I might maybe make a size larger, just give a bit of room, because I'm not sure how much wear she'll get out of it in this weather. It might be maybe one for when it starts to get a bit warmer in spring, possibly. But actually, I often find when she's at home, she does wear lighter weight clothes when it's a bit warmer in the house. So if we were having, say, a day at home at the weekend, she could easily wear it around the house and probably would be fine. It was just if we were going out on a winter walk or something, it might be a bit chilly because it's more of a cotton jersey rather than a French terry. So just that will be a little bit lighter weight on the legs. But the nice thing about this pattern, I think, is because it's got the elasticated ankle cuff, I probably could make the legs a little bit longer and they'd still sort of pull in nicely around the ankle, even if there's a bit of extra length there for growing room. So yes, anyway, I'm really looking forward to making her a version. It does make me feel like I'd quite like a version in a more fun colour too. I'm not sure I'd necessarily twin with her in this colour, but I'll look to next year towards spring thinking of making myself a second version, because I've got so much wear out of my navy one and I do really, really love it. And I really enjoyed sewing the pattern as well, so I'm looking forward to revisiting it for my daughter. So yes, those are the 3 new fabrics I've got, and I will link the Moonbeam Fabrics website down below. I find their services really good. They have a lovely range of printed and plain French terries and cotton jerseys. So definitely worth having a look. It just seems to be quite good value when I'm and yeah, nice colours that my daughter likes. So yes, that is the first thing that I wanted to share. Oh, and I've just realised I've been referring to the online fabric shop that I got those fabrics for my daughter from as Moonbeam fabrics, but it's actually Moonbow fabrics, so sorry about that. I'll make sure to link the fabric shop down below to save any confusion. It really is a lovely little online fabric shop, definitely worth a browse. But yes, that's that. Let me move on to the next thing that I wanted to share, which is quite a quick make that I whizzed up this week. And it was to make a t-shirt for my husband to wear with some pyjama shorts that I've made him. And I shared the pyjama shorts in my video last week. I hadn't quite finished them, but they're all done now, and here they are. So yeah, these are I made the shorts version. I did add in some pockets. I borrowed a pocket pattern piece for another pattern. It's got some nice deep pockets, which is what my husband wanted. And then for a final touch, I had a bit of fun using a decorative stitch on my sewing machine, and I added some little stars in gold at the back, just so he knows that that's the back of the pyjama shorts. I could have added in a label. I don't have a lot of labels, and I do enjoy any chance to use the decorative stitches on my machine. It's funny actually, this week I went and helped at Scouts that my son goes to, and they were making bunting because they're having a stall at a local winter market this weekend. So making some bunting to hang around the edge, and I took along my sewing machine and helped with sewing the flags they'd made onto the sort of the tape ready to be hung. And a lot of the Scouts were really interested in all the different stitches on my machine. They were having a little look as I was doing the bunting and saying, oh, I like that one, I like this one. And I was thinking, I don't often use those stitches, and it's a shame because they are so pretty. So yeah, any opportunity, it's nice to be able to take it. So yes, those are the shorts all done and dusted, and I made them in this lovely fabric, which is an Art Gallery cotton poplin fabric, which I got from Minerva. At the moment, or just recently, they seem to have had a big sale on the Art Gallery cotton poplin fabrics, and it's still on at the moment. So they're down from around $18.99 per metre to $7.99 per metre, which I think is really, really good value for a cotton poplin, especially an Art Gallery one. I'm not sure if this one is still in stock. If it is, I'll link it, or otherwise I'll link the full range down below. But it's perfect for pyjama bottoms, quite a nice weight, not too heavy, and really nice and soft. So yes, anyway, those are the pyjama shorts, and then he needed a new t-shirt to go with them. So I got some cotton jersey fabric from First for Fabrics in this kind of blue colour, kind of similar type of colour, sort of mid blue. And I just whipped up this quite simple, relaxed t-shirt. And I used another free pattern for this t-shirt, so I thought I'd share it on here because there are some great free patterns out there, I think, and I think it's always nice to hear about them. This is one I've used before in the kids version, and I've used the adults version for him a couple of times, and it is the ABBT by DIBY Club. I'll link it down below. I'll link the adults and the kids versions. But it's just quite a nice, simple, basic t-shirt, not too close fitting, so quite nice and relaxed for wearing as pyjamas. And it just sews up really nicely. I think there's also some variations. You can make a long sleeve version, but yeah, this is just a basic, simple, short sleeve version that seems to fit my husband quite well. And I managed to get a picture of him wearing these pyjamas this morning. He wasn't majorly keen to get into them because it's a bit cold, but he did. So I'll put a picture up so you can see how they look on. He's into his pyjama trousers now because it's cold here, but he'll definitely get lots of wear out of these, I think, when the weather warms up next year. So it's nice to have them ready because his other pair that these are replacing had got a big rip in them. So yeah, they definitely needed to be replaced. So anyway, I'll link this cotton jersey from First for Fabrics. It's just a nice, simple cotton jersey. It's quite good value. And yeah, I'm glad to have made those. My husband might wear this over winter with pyjama trousers. It's all like mix and match with his pyjamas. So yeah, anyway, I was glad to have made those. So the next thing that I've got to share is the make for myself that I finished this week. And I'm really pleased that I gave this pattern a go and put myself a little bit out of my comfort zone. I've been sewing up a pair of fitted trousers using a new to me pattern. And historically, I think I mentioned before, I've kind of avoided fitted trousers a little bit. I've made a fair few pairs of more loose fitting trousers, but fitted trousers, yeah, I've just been a bit nervous of them just because of how important it is to get the fit right in so many different places. And when I made my pair of Closet Core Ginger jeans a few years ago, I just didn't totally enjoy the whole process of basting them and trying them on and altering them and then retrying them on and rebasting it. It felt like quite a long process, and so I haven't really tackled a pair since. But I have really been wanting to, so I thought I'd try a pattern which was a slightly pared back version of fitted trousers that would just with fewer steps involved, so the process didn't seem so long, to maybe build my confidence up a little bit. So I have made a pair of trousers, these trousers here, which is the Eleonore trousers by Jalie Patterns. So it's my first time using a Jalie pattern, and I just really like the look of these Eleonore trousers, and I thought there's something that I could really see myself wearing. So they're a pair of fitted trousers. You can either make a full length or a cropped length. And what they have is an elasticated waistband. So they've got a few sort of jeans style bits. They've got the back pockets and these sort of faux front pockets. They look quite jeans-like. But you don't have to do the full fly zip and everything like that. It is just an elasticated waistband. So kind of like a jeggings type pattern, I guess. And yeah, I saw that Guthrie & Garnier a while back did a sewing kit, and it looked really nice. And yeah, I just thought it would be a good one to give a try. That seems like a fairly simple pair of trousers. I could just focus on the fit and then not have too many other fiddly bits to do. So yeah, and it's quite a cool pattern actually, because it comes, when you buy the pattern, you get a children's and an adult's version all built into one pattern. So when you get the pattern piece up, there are a lot of different leg sizes on there to cover the whole range. And it goes from, I think, what's the smallest waist is a 20-inch waist, up to a 44-inch waist, and then from hips of 22 inches up to 53 inches. So that's the full range of this pattern. So yeah, I've really enjoyed giving it a go actually, and I've made my pair in a stretch needle cord, a stretch cotton needle cord that I got from Guthrie & Garnier. It's this one here. It's in the Pacific blue colour. It does come in other colours too, but I'll link it down below. And it's kind of, I think, got a similar properties to the fabric that Guthrie & Garnier used for their kit, which was a stretch velvet fabric. I really love a needle cord, so I wanted to go for that, but go for something similar that hopefully would work just as well. So yes, here are my finished Eleonore trousers. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see what they look like. I need to get a picture so you can see what they look like on. You can see the fit and how they look on. But you can see they've got some lovely details. It's really cute little pocket detail at the front, which is fun to make, and a sort of faux fly detail here. I didn't go for any sort of decorative top stitching. I wanted to keep it quite simple, but you can just see there the stitching around the fly, and then at the back it's got a yoke, which I think is always good for helping it fit, and it's got these pockets. They're like proper pockets at the back. And it's got this waistband that is elasticated, so quite nice and comfy. And you can alter this pattern to make them more of a sort of skinny style jeans. But I just thought, I've got a few pairs of skinny jeans already. I thought I'll go for these slightly sort of more straight fit and see how I like them. And actually I do like them. It feels a bit different wearing them to what I'm used to. It takes me back in time. I think I used to have some pairs of trousers more this fit. But yeah, I'm quite happy actually with them. I'll put up a picture in a moment, but I'll talk a bit about the sort of sizing and the process first. The first thing I found a bit unusual about the Jalie patterns is that you get the instructions built into the actual pattern piece. So you have to open up a really big pattern piece to be able to trace off the pattern pieces and also find the instructions. I mentioned that in my last video, and somebody said you could take photographs of each bit of instructions, so they're kind of dotted around, so you don't have to kind of keep opening the pattern piece up, which I thought was a great idea. And someone also mentioned if you go on the Jalie website, you can actually download the instructions from there, which I haven't done yet, but I think I might do that, just to have a version on the computer as well, with all the instructions, rather than having to refer back to the pattern itself. But the instructions they were fairly sort of limited, but they weren't sort of too limited. They were just quite sort of concise, I guess. They weren't wordy instructions, and there were nice pictures as well to see how to go through the steps. So they were easy enough to follow. I did also buy the Guthrie & Garnier hints and tips video that was released with the kit, so you can buy just the video, and it's about like a half-an-hour video from Lauren with loads of information in it about fitting and little tips along the way. And I sort of used the instructions and also Lauren's video as I went through the process of making my Eleonore jeans. And I definitely think if you're a bit nervous about making a pair of fitted trousers, or just tackling a different sewing pattern for a new pattern company, I would really recommend Lauren's video. I found it so useful. There were loads of really handy tips in there, and it felt like a bit more hand-holding through the process than if I just used the instructions. So I'll link that video down below as well. But I found them really enjoyable to sew actually. Let me talk about sizing. So I decided to go for the size R. So the girls' sizes go from F to Q, and the women's sizes go from R to double F. And I went for R, which is the smallest ladies size, which is designed for a waist of 27 inches and hips of 36 inches. I'm waist 26, hips 36, and I could have, I guess, graded in, but I thought let's just stick with that size, and then given I'm going to be basting the trousers together and altering the fit, I can just alter as I go for my waistband. I did add a bit of length to the legs. I added 1 3/4 inches, and I'm glad I did actually, because I didn't take off any length when I came to hemming them, and I did hem with a fairly small hem. I overlocked and turned up by I think 2 or 2.5 centimetres, so I'm glad I had the extra length. And I'm 5'6" for reference, but I do like them quite long. They do come down quite long now. I just would prefer that than a little bit shorter. So yeah, I'm glad I had that little bit of extra length. So then I just basically sewed up the jeans, and then I basted them together before I started sewing all the seams fully, just so I can get an idea of the fit. And I did need to make some adjustments. Oh, one other thing actually I did before when I got the pattern pieces cut out, was I lengthened the crotch slightly, because I think they're designed to be fairly low-waisted, the Eleonore trousers, and I prefer a more of a higher waist. So I actually lengthened the crotch by 2.5 inches, which seems like quite a lot, but I generally have to lengthen the crotch anyway, because I feel like I'm quite long there, or longer than average. And then I wanted to bring them up as well. So I guess that kind of 2.5 inches covered a natural adjustment for me, for my longer body, and then also extra to bring it up to around the waist, and that brings it up to around the waist, I think, give or take. I probably could have maybe made it a little bit lower, but it is fine like that. So yeah, lengthen the front and back pieces for that extra crotch depth. But then when I've got to basting up these trousers, I did have to make a few adjustments there, and mainly, which is what I found before, I think, on trousers, I remember for my ginger jeans, and also I remember for making like fitted skirts as well, is I've got quite a sway back, so I come in quite a lot there, and I found the trousers were sort of gaping quite a lot at the back there. So the front seemed to fit fine, but just around the back there, I had to bring it in quite a lot. So I ended up taking this centre seam here along the yoke and the back, I think by about 3 centimetres at the top, to bring it in quite sharply there to kind of hug my back. And then I had to adjust the waistband as well and bring that in as well to account for the slightly, for that sort of sway back adjustment to sort of bring it in there. Other than that, the fit was okay, and I guess because it's a stretch fabric, it's a little bit more forgiving than making more fitted trousers in a more rigid fabric. And then I could actually start sewing them up, so it didn't feel like the whole fitting process was too arduous. And have adjusted my pattern pieces now, so if I make another pair in the future, at least I know vaguely where they're going to be. I know if I chose to make a pair in a slightly different fabric with a slightly different stretch, I might need to alter them again slightly, but at least I'm kind of heading in the right direction, and the sway back adjustment definitely needed to be done, otherwise it would gape so much their back. And I do find often on ready to wear jeans that is an issue for me, that it does gape there, so it's nice to be able to make something similar or more jeggings type thing of my own. But yes, the whole process was really enjoyable. It's sewed up nicely. The way the elastic goes in the waist is really nice too. I did have to alter the waistband a bit as well. I think having brought it in by so much that the sway back, the first time I put the waistband on, it just felt too tight. So I ended up recutting the waistband and just adding a bit of extra room there, so it doesn't go in as much at the top as it should do. Because I think I go in at the back and then I'm fairly sort of straight all round rather than in further. That's what it seemed to be based on these pattern pieces. But yeah, actually, I really enjoyed sewing them, and yeah, I'm really happy with the finished jeans actually, and I definitely would make this pattern again. Another thing that I wanted to mention about this make, which I thought might be quite useful to know, is the amount of fabric that I used for my Eleonore trousers. So I ordered more fabric than the pattern suggested for my pair of Eleonore trousers for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I'm conscious that Needlecord has a nap, so I need to cut all my pattern pieces going in the same direction. And I know often with trouser patterns, the cutting layout shows them being cut in opposite directions, just to be able to squeeze all the trouser pattern pieces out of a shorter amount of fabric. Because if you can put them next to each other, sometimes all in the right direction, because the hips are wider, it means you can't sort of fit them all next to each other along the fabric width. So I ordered a bit extra for that, and also because I knew I was going to want to lengthen the trousers, both in the legs and then also at the crotch, to be able to bring it up to a higher waist. So I ordered 2 meters of this stretch Needlecord fabric, and it is a wider fabric. So I thought that would give me plenty to play with. And I found actually in the end, I could fit all 4 of my legs cut the same way up next to each other on the fabric with this wider fabric. So all of the hips did actually fit next to each other, which I was really pleased about and I wasn't expecting. Which actually meant I ended up using quite a lot less fabric than I bought. And even with recutting the waistband for the slightly wider waist adjustment, I end up using just under 1.5 meters of fabric. So I've got a decent amount of the needle cord left here, and have got a couple of ideas of what I might want to do with it. So yeah, I've got some ideas in my head of how I can use the extra. But yes, I managed to squeeze out less fabric, and it's nice to know if I make another pair, I'll only need to order 1.5 meters of fabric rather than the 2 meters. So I thought that was good to know. And in terms of this fabric, it was so nice to sew with. Yeah, really nice. I did put quite a lot of pins into it because I'm conscious, because of the nap, things can slide around a bit on needle cord. So I was quite generous with the amount of pins I used to avoid things sliding about, particularly things like the pocket. I didn't want one of the pockets to slip slightly and the other one not to, and then end up a little bit wonky on the back. So I used a lot of pins rather than clips, which I do often really like to use wonder clips, and I will use them on a lot of things. But I find pins just really secured this fabric in place. And the only other thing I found, as ever with I find with a needle cord or a corduroy, it does fray a little bit, so I've overlocked everything inside just to give it a really nice finish and hopefully preserve them for a long time to come. But yes, I'll pop some pictures up now so you can see how they do fit. Yeah, I really like them actually. It feels a bit different wearing them to a pair of sort of jeans. I'm used to having the waistband you undo and everything, but the elasticated waist comes down really nicely. They're really comfy in this stretchy fabric, and yeah, I'd really recommend the Eleonore pattern. I'll definitely make it again. It was a lot of fun to sew, and I'm really glad to have tried these. I do find it quite hard to find really nice fitting jeans in the shops. I've got a few pairs that I wear a lot that I'll wear out eventually, and I'm thinking, you know, this might give me the encouragement now to try more of an involved jeans pattern. Now I've kind of feel like I've got the fit on these ones. I might at some point in the future try a more involved jeans pattern, but in the meantime I could easily make myself a pair of skinny, stretchy sort of jeggings in this fabric as well, which would be great. And I might have a go at some point of making the skinny version and bringing the legs in. But yeah, I really like this as a different item in my wardrobe, and I feel they're very nice and wintry and just really strokeable in this lovely velvety fabric. So yes, I'm really glad to have given the Jalie trousers a go, and it's nice to know I might be able to use this pattern for my daughter at some point in the future, because it does have a whole range of sizes. So yes, anyway, I'll link the pattern, the fabric and everything down below. And if you're kind of nervous about getting into fitted trousers but would like to give them a try, I would recommend this pattern for comfort and for it does come together nicely. And I would really recommend Lauren's hints and tips videos as an extra too. I found that really yeuseful. So I think that's everything that I've got to share today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed hearing about what I've been up to. I'm so proud to have made those Eleonore trousers, and yeah, just given fitted trousers a go after having avoided them for so long. But yes, anyway, I hope you have a lovely week too. I hope you're well and get some sewing time, and I look forward to seeing you for another video very soon. But in the meantime, I'll say goodbye now. See ya. Bye.